Some growth is only going to happen when nobody is watching. And this isn't about being lonely, it's just about finding solitude that you can really find your comfort in and grow in. Everybody wants to evolve and get better, but they don't also want to accept that that often comes with silence and being by yourself sometimes. It's easy to talk about growth when you're surrounded by others, but when you're by yourself, then it's a whole different story. When it's just you and your thoughts and whatever you've been avoiding. And there's a difference between feeling alone and being alone. Your solitude should bring you comfort. It should let you open up your brain and let your brain really talk to you. It's a space to see yourself clearly, and when you're surrounded by a lot of noise, it's really hard for your mind to actually show you what's really going on, to show you what your mind is saying. Being alone really strips away the distractions. It really lets you get to that truth that you have deep down, the kind you can't escape from, the kind you can't run away from. I know for me it usually comes in like knowledge and things like that, like not knowing enough and not knowing enough about what I want to do next, or not knowing what move to do next, or feel like I'm missing a part of a puzzle for something. And there's lessons that only silence teaches. You start to notice patterns, how you think, how you talk to yourself. Is it good or is it bad? And what you run from, usually what you're avoiding. There's usually something that you could be avoiding. Being alone builds that self-trust. You get to rely on your own voice instead of the voices of others and trying to get external validation from others. And if you notice, progress usually happens in the silence. It's when you're just lifting by yourself, or that drive on the way home, or you're doing something late night when everybody else is asleep. You'll notice those are the moments where the most things happen in your brain. That's why some people can't sleep all the time, because when they go to lay down, that silence, it wakes their brain up, and their brain starts throwing all these ideas at them, or things from the past, or anxious about the future and all those different things. And some people won't be able to fall asleep that way. And people avoid solitude because we just live in a dopamine driven society nowadays. A TikTok brain, and you always got to be scrolling something or watching something or playing something or just doing something. Like, it's really rare for somebody to just be sitting with their thoughts, or to sit with a notebook or something like that. Some can feel a withdrawal because they're pretty much addicted to that stimulation, that constant stimulation. Their brain is used to that loop. And we confuse being busy with being alive. Some people think because you're always busy, you're always doing something, you're just doing a whole bunch of filler work, that you're doing the right things, and that's not always the case. Sometimes the most alive moments are when you're just still, when you're really still about things. It gives you, like I said, it gives you the clarity to be able to think about things a little bit more clearly, and to think things through more, through different angles. You could think about something through this angle. You could think about this outcome. You could think about what happens if you do this. If you sit in that silence, and you, even if you want to write things out, you want to write out a chart or something like that. I've always been this way since I was a kid. I always just like being by myself. I always enjoyed my own company. It never bothered me to be by myself. Usually when I was a kid, I was playing something, or I was just chilling, I was watching something, but that's how I've always been as a kid. I would still hang out with friends here and there. I would go outside. That was back in the day when kids would go outside and ride bikes and go play basketball or go to the park or something like that. But I still would always look forward to that alone time in my room when I get to chill and just hang out by myself and just do what I want to do. And I still feel that way to this day. I still do it all the time. I have no problem being by myself. I actually really enjoy it. And it's quiet. It's not going to be glamorous. It's not going to be fireworks. It's all those small steps every day. It's the small things that compound all over each other. The compound effect is a real thing. The compound effect is a very real thing if you let it do its job. It works if you work it. You can't compound things if you're not always stacking those bricks. You can't expect to do things here and there every once in a while. You do it one day, you don't do it that day, and then think things are going to compound. You got to always be putting in for it to compound on itself. And that becomes a foundation for who you are when you go back out into the world, or when you do make those changes. Solitude makes you more intentional. You're not just moving just for the sake of moving. You're moving with intent, and you're trying to move with a purpose. You're actually planning things out, and you're doing things because you want to actually do them. The person you become in private determines who you will be seen as and be portrayed as in public, and who you will be in public. You can't skip the alone part of growth. It doesn't matter who you are. Look at all the greats. Whoever you look up to, they all had that time, or multiple times actually, multiple different periods through different ages, where they had that alone space, that alone period, that lonely stage, if you will, quote unquote. You can't avoid it if you want to elevate to where you want to get to. It's where everything real begins. It's where everything real starts to compound and does compound if you keep going with it. So this week, take some time alone without needing to fill it with something. Don't use a screen. Don't use your phone, your TV, your Xbox, your PlayStation, whatever you use. Just sit with your thoughts. Try to meditate. If you want, grab a notebook and write down what comes to your head and just write down your thoughts. But just try out a little bit more silence this week. When you're okay with your own company, you stop chasing what doesn't align with you. You really start to get in line with your own peace and what you want on your own version of peace. So try it out. I encourage you to do that. Do a little more silence this week. Enjoy your silence this week. If you got this far, my name is TJ. If you found this helpful at all, consider subscribing, consider hitting that like. I'm going to do, I think, 2 more parts to this kind of alone topic here soon. So stay tuned for that. But I'm out of here. I'll see y'all.